foundation of any business starts with a business and sales plan. Today, I want to help you go through and really establish your 90-day sales plan. And that first starts with having a dominant sales focus. I'm a huge believer in a dominant focus versus the word goals. A lot of people set goals and then they don't reach them, so therefore they lower them, or they do reach them and they hit cruise control. To me, it's got to be a dominant focus, and that consumes you every single day. So that's the first part. The second part, we're going to go through and really establish your professional versus amateur activities. There are certain activities every single day that get you paid. Those are professional activities. And then there are amateur things that do not get you paid. That really just means not paid. So on a micro level, on a daily basis, what are you doing that are high value uses of your time every single day to drastically drive up the probability of sales? And then the third component is I want to go deeper into our proactive prospecting system. What I've learned is that most people just want to be told what to do on a daily basis. And so that's where we developed a plan for you. And I believe a plan should be easy on paper. That's what we're going to help you do to break down this 90-day sales plan. As we work through your 90-day sales plan, I want to give you some backdrop into why I chose 90 days. You know, when I first launched my business, I was one of those annualized goal planning people. And what I realized is it didn't create a sense of urgency. It didn't give me a scoreboard. It didn't hold me accountable. And so I have one very basic belief in life. Trained people will always outperform untrained people. So when it comes to these 90-day sales, I want to help you, number one, establish your daily sales habits tied to your dominant focus. Part number two goes into how do we create that sense of urgency. I'm a huge believer that a sense of urgency keeps you on pace every single day. And when we get stagnant, when we get bored, when we get complacent, that's when our numbers dip for us. So I want to create a sense of urgency for you in a 12-week span versus annualized goals where you just hit cruise control. So every single day I wake up on fire because I have a sense of urgency. I reset at 0 every day. What does that really mean? I'm still doing the same amount of calls every single day, regardless of if I had huge success the day before or not. So reset at 0, and that way you create that sense of urgency. And as we all know, the largest gap in the world is the execution gap. We're not short on ideas, we're short on the implementation of those ideas. So when you set that dominant focus, when you're accountable to a scoreboard, when you create a sense of urgency, now we're going to tighten and close that gap to drastically increase the probability of good things happening for you every single day for your business. That's why I believe trained people will always outperform untrained people. So as we work through your sales plan, there's really different intentions that I want to work through with you. Number one starts with the clarity behind why you're doing what you're doing. There's nothing worse than being confused, right? Confusion creates a lot of cloud, a lot of judgment, errors for you. So when it comes to getting clarity, I want you to wake up every single day and know exactly what you should be doing. Because again, there's nothing worse than not knowing where you want to go, right? If you type in something into the GPS right now and you're not clear about where you're going to go with that, it creates confusion. I want to give you that clarity. So the clarity leads into the confidence. When we know better, we do better, or at least we should. Otherwise, it's negligent towards your future. So confidence is the one thing that affects everything in our lives and in our business. So when we have the clarity, we wake up on purpose and on point. Now we have that confidence to go out there and really manifest our bigger future. So that way that plan should be easy on paper. And then the third component is to empower you to take more action. Once we have the clarity and the confidence, now we can go out there every single day on fire, and we're empowered and we're confident. And therefore, man, we're ready to go take on the world and go grow our business every single day. So that's our intention when it comes to your plan on paper. I have some very basic beliefs when it comes to not only just sales planning, but business in general. I told you earlier, a plan should be easy on paper. That's my most basic belief. In today's world, man, we have more confusion. We have more tools. We have more resources. We have more pieces of advice. You have experts like me telling me all these different things you should be doing in your business, which creates confusion. So your plan, not my plan for you, not your significant other's plan for you, not your manager's plan for you. Your plan should be easy on paper. And then my next basic belief is that everybody competes harder when there's a scoreboard. When left to our own devices, we're not afraid to let ourselves down, but we don't want to let other people down. And so think about the last time you actually did anything competitive and they had a scoreboard. You played a little bit harder, right? Whether it's personal training, whether it's your health and wellness, whether it's a sports league, everybody competes harder when there's a scoreboard. So why do we stop having scoreboards as adults? Why do we stop having scoreboards as salespeople? It's not a bad thing. We all need some level of accountability. And I believe that accountability has gotten a bad rap. Let's just be honest. It's one of those words we kind of hear when we cringe in sales. Guys, it's not a bad thing. We all need some level of accountability because that's what's going to drastically increase the probability of having success. And then my last belief is I believe that progress is always better than perfection, right? Done is better than perfectly undone. So I'm a big believer, get it to 80% and call it good. That's good enough. And so just don't beat yourself up when your plan isn't working. Don't beat yourself up if you have one bad day. Focus on the progress over the perfection every single day. And again, good things are going to happen for you. And then when it comes to amateur versus professional activities, when it comes to progress over perfection, again, don't beat yourself up if maybe you hit snooze one time, but don't beat yourself up over that. If that's an amateur activity, you set your alarm clock for 5:30 a.m. Again, progress over perfection. Maybe you're getting up 30 minutes earlier. Maybe you made that one more phone call. Maybe you overcome that call reluctance. So when it comes to amateur versus professional behaviors, you got to be honest with yourself. On a micro level, what are the things that are going to get you paid? What are the things that are not going to get you paid? And then how do we increase the probability of productivity and production when it comes to those basic beliefs? So just to recap that, I believe everybody competes harder when there's a scoreboard. I believe there are paid things that get us paid, professional activities, and there's amateur things that don't get us paid. Those are unpaid activities. And so when it comes to this plan, let's give you clarity. Let's give you confidence. Let's empower you to go out there and take massive action where you wake up on point every single day. As we continue to work through the foundations of your business, I've said it before, if I've ever said it again, sales is a game of probability. All we're trying to do every single day is drastically increase the probability of good things happening. And just to remind you of my background of having a PhD, guys, this stuff isn't fluff. This isn't just 30,000 foot level stuff. This is backed by science. So when we break down a plan and the science behind it of actually increasing the probability of achieving it, there's some different stats I want you to really understand and think about when it comes to setting your plan. 10% of people who have an idea or a goal actually achieve it. So just think about how low that is. Guys, we have so many different ideas every single day, and only 10% of us are going to achieve that. 25% of people who actually consciously decide, hey, that's a good idea, I want to go do that, achieve it. And then we get into 40% who actually decide when they're going to do it, achieve it. 50% of people who actually plan out how they're going to do it, achieve it. And then we get into 65% when you commit to somebody else to doing it. So just to recap this before I get into the 95%, 10% of people who have an idea achieve it, right? An idea, let's say you're laying in bed, an idea pops in your mind, you don't do anything with it, right? And then we get into the 20% where you decide, you write it down, 25% decide, hey, that's a good idea, I want to go do that. And then we get into 40% is where you start to plan out how or when you're going to do it. And then 95% of people who actually go through and commit, hey, that's a great idea, here's my plan in place, I committed to somebody else that I want to go do that. And then now you meet on it regularly. That's why you need coaches in your life. Everybody needs a coach in their life. We all need some level of accountability and drastically increasing probability when you meet on it regularly. When you tell somebody, hey, I want to go do this. When you have accountability partners, now good things are going to happen for you and your business and in your life. So we covered a lot of time building you up, giving you excitement as to why a plan is in place, why it's important, the science behind it. Now I want to get into the actual substance behind it. Part one of the sales plan then is your dominant sales focus. I told you earlier, I'm a big believer in the word dominant focus because goals get lowered and they get crushed. And so to me, I wake up on point, on purpose every single day with my dominant focus. I'm a huge Stephen Covey fan. You probably could tell that by now. Begin with the end in mind and then work backwards for that picture. All right, so we can still set annualized goals, but then from there, how do we set quarterly and then monthly and then weekly, all the way down into a daily mindset for your amateur habits versus your professional habits, having that scoreboard. So a dominant sales focus is a tangible number that we can measure. It's not an intangible. It's not out there in obscurity land. It's a tangible number. We're either ahead or we're behind every single day. We want to help you set that tangible number on a micro basis. And I want to give you permission to become obsessed with that number. You know, talking about Stephen Covey, I'm also a Grant Cardone fan when it comes to being obsessed. So it's okay to be obsessed with your sales and in your business. And actually, you should be. Otherwise, it's going to be incredibly difficult on the days you don't feel like doing it. On the days distraction happens, on the days you have obstacles. So you should become obsessed with your dominant focus. The point of any business is to create a customer. We don't have revenue and we don't have sales and we don't have a business then, right? So when it comes to all this different stuff, and then tie it to your why. It's not my why for you. It has to be your why. So this is another big part of it. Once you know what your plan is, you know what your dominant focus is, you have a tangible number. Now tie it to your why, and that will help motivate you naturally when it comes to all these different things. And then lastly, 60% of people achieve a plan when they share it with other people. I'm giving you permission to now share your plan with other people because good human beings want to help other good human beings. So when you have a strong support group, a tribe of people, you should share your plan. You should share your ideas. You should share why you want to go do it. And then they're going to help you hold yourself accountable to go out there and do that, and vice versa. Now it's a vested partnership. So that's the importance of having a dominant focus. And just getting into why a dominant focus, all right, is I want to help you set non-negotiables when it comes to your dominant focus. So again, this needs to be a tangible number. This is a dream number. I break it down into two different categories. I have my dream number, and then I have my non-negotiable number. My dream number is, man, if I could go hit this number consistently, my life is forever gonna change, okay? And then I have to have my non-negotiable number, which is really a crucial conversation. If I'm not consistently hitting this number, I can't even operate a business. I can't even maintain and run a business. And so that's the Michael Jackson man in the mirror, having that crucial conversation with yourself. If you don't have a non-negotiable, guys, then again, how are we going to hold ourselves accountable? So to me, I want a dream number. That's the number that's on my vision board every single day, every single week. And then I know my non-negotiable number where I'm not consistently hitting that number 3 months to 6 months. Then I have to have that conversation where I might have to fire myself. And that's a hard conversation. You don't ever want to have that conversation with yourself. All right, so that's my mindset for me. A dominant focus is a dream number. My non-negotiable number is I can't even have a business without those. And now I get real clear about that as we move forward into the sales plan. And guys, I'm gonna give you permission. It's okay to recalibrate your numbers. All right, so maybe you set a dominant focus and you just realized 6 months into it, I was a little ambitious. A lot of times we are overly ambitious. That's a good thing. But you have to be honest with yourself and those numbers. So I'm not hardcore when it comes, I'm not gonna yell at you. If you need to recalibrate, and you need to truly measure this stuff. But that's the point, is you have to measure it. You have to understand what your scoreboard is, right? So talking about just being an athlete, you know, I would love to go out and run a 4.40 right now, but it's probably not going to happen for me. So maybe I need to be realistic about what that number is, you know? So it's the same thing for your sales. I want you to think big, but you might have to recalibrate it. Now, when it comes to setting a dominant sales focus, I put these into two different buckets. Quantitative is purely a number because you can measure it. All right. Then there's qualitative, which gets into more of the behavioral things. All right. So when it comes to being qualitative, it's measurable. It's your human behaviors. So when you wake up every single day, you can be honest with your own self, how you feel. Do you have energy? Do you lack confidence? Those are things that you should just understand qualitatively, behaviorally. All right. If you don't have those things, why don't you have them? Did you stay out too late the night before? Did you not remember your why? Did you not do your gratitudes? Did you not do your intentions? Did you not plan for the week? Right? All that kind of stuff. Those are all qualitative. Those are all behaviors and habits when it comes to that. Your dominant focus should be your quantitative. That's a set number. So I want to give you an exercise as to how do you set that dominant focus number based on a quantitative number. Because early in my career, it was just, I would just throw out random obscure numbers. Hey, I want to go make $100,000, $250,000. But I wouldn't really know what number I truly needed to hit. So I want to give you some different examples or even people to talk to. Number one, guys, I'm not an expert when it comes to your numbers. I can't tell you. We're all at different places in our careers. So I would inform you or educate or encourage you to go out there and find a CPA or an accountant or an advisor, sit down with them and give them your vision, give them your plan, give them your goals, because they can help you set it that way. Now, if you don't want to commit to that, there's some other ways that you could do it. Number one would be talk to an expert. Do a market analysis. So study other people who are maybe a year or 2 years ahead of you and ask them, hey, what number did you hit your first year? I'm not big into comparing myself to other people. However, this is an easy exercise for you to really start to figure out how you can set that dominant focus number. So I call that an expert. An expert could be spend time with talented people who have already been there and done it, and you can pick their brain. Most people want to help other good human beings. So when you ask somebody for advice as to, hey, how do I set a production number? You know, maybe I did a market analysis. The top 1%ers make this. The top 1%ers in my first year make this. So wherever you're at in your career, spend time doing a market analysis and talking to other industry experts. And then the last part is, if you've already been doing it for a while, then just ask yourself, at this time last year, what was my number? And then maybe you want to raise that by 10%, 15%, 25%, whatever that number might be. Now you can set a consistent dominant focus, but again, it has to be yours. Tie it to an internal why and tie it to an external why, and good things are going to happen for you when it comes to setting that dominant focus number. So I want to give you some tangible examples too when it comes to internal versus external. I know I've used that expression a few different times now. Internal means it has to come from you. Internally, there's different things that you really enjoy doing about your job or your career that are passionate for you. And so maybe you enjoy traveling. Maybe you enjoy spending more time with your family. Maybe you enjoy going on vacations, whatever that is. Those are internal motivators for you. Those are different things that are wise for you. Maybe just like helping more people. Therefore, the more money you can make, the more you can invest back into your company and into your own learning to go to these different seminars. Therefore, the more people that you can help, okay? External would be outside things. So internal are inside things for you. External are outside motivators. So outside motivators might be the fact that, maybe you have to have a mortgage. Maybe you have to have a house. Maybe you have to have a car. Maybe you need those different things. Maybe you have to put your kids through school. Those are external motivators. Maybe your significant other's riding you about, hey, we need to go make more money, right? So either way, they're good things, but it is important to understand internal, you're a lot more passionate because it's yours. External are external things that might not motivate you or drive you as much. That's why I'm so big into it has to be your why for yourself. So once we know what our quantitative number is, our dominant focus number is, I want to break it down on a micro level. So this is where we get into that qualitative side of it. I want to truly know how many appointments I should be setting every single day when it comes to my business, because I want to take the guesswork out for you. And so when it comes to setting this number, I'm going to give you round numbers, all right? Because again, we're all at different places in our careers. But let's say that you're in real estate, for instance, you're in your 7th year and you want to go make $500,000. So that's my dominant sales focus number when it comes to my revenue. Now from there, what has to happen? So this is where the variables can change a little bit depending on what market you're in. So if you're in real estate and your average sale price is $1 million home, well, your commission is going to be higher than those if their average sales price is $250,000, okay? So I want you to understand this number is really relevant to your situation. So $500,000 is the number I want to hit for my GCI. And then from there, if my average commission rate is $10,000, that means I need to have 50 transactions every single year for me to hit that number. And now from there, guys, this is where it becomes a little bit more fun. Is once we understand I need to have 50 deals, multiply that out by 4, because the average conversion rate is 25% for people. Now the conversion rate is going to change based on the type of lead, based on how long you've been doing it, based on your skill sets, right? All those different kinds of components. But once I know I want to do 50 transactions to make $500,000 because I get $10,000 per sale, now if I do that 25% number, now I need to have 200 appointments every single year. So you can see how you can break this thing down into a micro level to where if I need to have 200 appointments, now I can really figure out how many appointments I need to have every single day, every single week, every single quarter, and break it down that way. But again, here's a key point. It could change based on your experience level. It could change based on how much money you make per deal, right? So all of us are in different industries even. For a guy like me, I get paid $500 per box I sell. So if I break that down, if I want to go make $500,000, I only make 500 per box, you can see why I need to have more meetings or more appointments or more marketing or more advertising or more leads. All right. So this is where I just want to help you set that dominant focus number, but give you some tangible examples as to how to do it based on where you're currently at with your career. I want to give you a tangible example and just to show you that I practice what I preach, setting my own dominant focus. So let's say, for instance, I want to hit $500,000 for my own revenue, for my own business, and my average per sale commission is $1,500. That means I need to have 333 transactions every single year. If I multiply that out by 4, and just going by the average that my 25% conversion rate is the same as yours, now we need to have 1,333 appointments, guys, every single year for me to hit that dominant focus. Why do I tell you this? It creates that sense of urgency. So tying it all the way back into the beginning of our sales plan is when I know I need to have 1,333 appointments every single year, now I can break that down into 333 per quarter, all the way down into a day. I need to have 5 appointments every single day for me to hit my dominant sales focus number. Now I wake up on point and on passion and on purpose. Now, what happens if I didn't have those 5 appointments the day before? Compound effect. And now I need to have 10 today. If I don't do 2 in a row, maybe I have 2 bad days in a row where I don't do my appointments. Now I need to have 15. So you can see why this is so critical for you when it comes to setting your dominant sales focus and your plan and doing the daily disciplines for your appointments. You've reached part 2 of our sales plan, which is talking about the amateur versus professional behaviors and activities. And I just want to tell you this, I'm not calling you amateur, but I am saying there are certain things that we all do every single day that are amateur activities, including myself. That's why I came up with this amateur versus professional activities when it comes to your sales plan and your dominant focus and the qualitative side of this. So again, the qualitative side these are behaviors, these are habits when it comes to your everyday work. One of my favorite book titles is What Got Us Here Won't Get Us There. And I want you to really think about that. What got you to this very point in your life won't get you to that next. All right. So that's the mindset for me is my best days are always ahead of me versus behind me. So what got me here to this point won't get me to that next. But I'll also tell you this when it comes to the science behind behaviors is the reward has to be greater than the sacrifice. What do I mean by that? If I want to go, let's say I'm going to Cancun in a couple months, I want to look good. That's the reward. The reward is I'm picturing myself at the beach or on the ocean or whatever that might be looking good. What are the sacrifices now? The sacrifices are my diet, are my health, are my exercises. It's all the things. It's sacrificing short-term for the long-term. How do you sacrifice short-term pleasures for long-term gains? I don't like eating healthy, if I'm being honest. All right. But again, I know that for my energy and my confidence and to look good, that I have to do that. That's the reward at the end of the tunnel. Therefore, I sacrifice those different things. And here's the reality. Here's the trouble or the challenge is there's always going to be obstacles that get into your way. So when it becomes a dominant focus for you, you're going to have sacrifices and you're going to have obstacles every single day. So when I plan out for my week, I look ahead and I say, what are going to be my obstacles? It could be not getting up that morning because, the night before I had a happy hour or networking events. So again, the reward has to be greater than the sacrifice. You have certain non-negotiables that you wake up and do every single day. And now from there, you start to plan out. And just be honest with yourself. On a daily basis, what are your biggest obstacles? Is it that, maybe in the mid-afternoon you get tired, you get lazy, you don't feel like making calls? Well, once you understand that's the obstacle, the question becomes, what's the sacrifice? Or what are the things that you can do to increase probability that you're actually going to go do those different things when it comes to the amateur versus the professional side of things? Now, when we talk about amateur versus professional, the number one challenge for most people is time block and time management. And I am a big believer in me management. What do I mean by that? I don't believe in time management. I believe in me management. We all get the same amount of time and effort every single day, and how we choose to spend that time is on us. So again, you might have a family, you might have different responsibilities, but it doesn't mean that you don't have the same 24 hours as I do. You just need to account for those a little bit differently. So we all get to choose how we spend our time and our energy and who we spend our time and our energy with. So I'm a big believer as we break down the amateur versus professional activities, there's no such thing as time management, only me management. There's certain things that you don't want to do, you're not going to feel like doing. There's certain obstacles. The reward always has to be greater than the sacrifice. I'm giving you permission that what got us here won't get us there. Out of all the slides in my presentations, these are two of my favorite when it comes to professional versus amateur, the happy face versus the frown face. The happy face just means when you study professional, if you look it up in the dictionary, it literally says paid. These are activities that get you paid. When you look up amateur, it says unpaid. Guys, it's that easy. So when you wake up every day, just ask yourself, am I doing high value activities that get me paid, or am I doing low value activities that are not getting me paid? And then how can I drastically increase productivity level by doing more paid activities? So I'm a big believer in high value activities. I call these HVAs. As entrepreneurs, we only get paid by results. That's all there is to it. So every day I have high value activities. I get paid by results. And then I understand how to see things as opportunities rather than obligations. This is one of those things I learned early on. I think a lot of business advice is filled with platitudes. And it sounds something like this. Just get your name out there, right? Learn how to say no. Guys, early on in your business, you should learn how to say yes to almost everything. So I see everything as an opportunity for me to grow and to get better. And then once you start to work through and understand what an opportunity is versus an obligation, you have a disciplined focus every single day tied to those high value activities. And here's another thing I learned early on in my business. When I launched my business, I thought to myself, I need a time block. I need to have all these different things, but then I don't really want a time block. But time blocking creates the autonomy for you. So that was a big lesson for me early on in my business, was to figure out that time blocking and time management, me management, means that I actually create the autonomy on the nights and on the weekends. Because a lot of us get into business so that we can have the autonomy, so that we can go do the things that we enjoy with the people that we enjoy doing with. I believe in intentional congruence, where all things feed all things. Therefore, when I'm disciplined with my focus and I do time block, that creates the autonomy for me. So as we talk about time block and it creates the autonomy, I'm also a big believer in planning on Sundays for Monday. Over 95% of salespeople do not have a plan in place when they wake up on Monday morning. So if you really want to get ahead of people and if you really want to be a professional, carve out 15 to 30 minutes on the weekends to plan for your week, because that's going to help you accelerate your growth and get ahead of everyone else when it comes to the time block and the autonomy and the planning. And lastly is creating that sense of urgency, doing things when you don't feel like doing them. That's another big part when it comes to your professional activities, is when you don't feel like doing something, you don't put it off until later. You do it right now. And I will guarantee good things will happen if you really master these professional behaviors and habits and routines. And as we talk about the amateur activities, again, I want to remind you, I'm not calling you amateur. I made this list based on my own amateur activities and behaviors and habits. So these are low uses of your time. I think 80% of people spend way too much time in low value activities. They only work when it's convenient. They only work when they're inspired. What does that really mean? Guys, success is extremely inconvenient when it comes to your business. If you only did things when you felt like it, you probably wouldn't do a lot of different things. And only work when you're inspired. What does that really mean? Let's say you have that cup of coffee in the morning and now you're ready to go. You have that high energy. Now what happens after that coffee's gone? I'm a big believer inspirational things happen in inspirational places, but motivation has to grab hold most of the time for us every single day. If we only did things when we felt like doing them, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. So talk about doing things when it's only convenient for you and when it's only inspiring. Another one for me personally is overcoming call reluctance and only calling people when I feel like calling them. Instead of that, what do? I text them. Guys, I'm a millennial myself. Millennials love to text. We love Facebook. We love all that kind of stuff. However, most of the time, it is much more beneficial for you just to pick up the phone and have a 2 to 3 minute conversation versus text. So again, this is me coaching my own self when it comes to call reluctance, when it comes to only doing things when I feel like doing them, when it comes to texting versus calling. So for you, amateurs get paid by making the phone calls, by actually having those face-to-face conversations. Another amateur activity then is, as we work through the list, is not preparing your CRM, not doing the daily disciplines every single day when it comes to scrubbing your database, when it comes to actually mining out your different database of the different people. And so I want you to track and measure your daily disciplines and your routines. Spend 10 to 15 minutes every single day going through and actually tracking and measuring and inserting this stuff into your database. That way you can start to build your database up and have that artificial intelligence. And so whenever people tell me, hey, that takes a lot of time to go through my CRM and to input all that information, I ask them, how much time are you spending on mindless social media use? And most of them tell me a lot. A lot of my time is just spent going through my news feed or spent looking at other people's stories. So this is where, again, you have to be disciplined. One of my biggest pieces of advice when it comes to social media would be to actually build in lists into your Facebook. So instead of just scrolling through, build out your list of your help list and your fight club and your favorite people and your new business, all that kind of stuff, because now you can be intentional with your Facebook or with your social media use, because otherwise what happens? You click on something, catches your eye, you click on a link, next thing you know, you're watching a video for 15 minutes you don't need to be watching. Again, those are low value activities. So when we talk about professional versus amateur, guys, it comes down to self-discipline. You're either doing things that are getting you paid or you're not doing things that are not getting you paid. And so once we understand that now, good things are going to happen. So talking about social media and just click on a link here, a video there, now you get distracted. So people get emotionally distracted as well. What do I mean by that? In sales, it can be a roller coaster. So again, we're talking about when we only do things when we feel like doing it, sometimes we lose a deal. A call didn't go right. And so therefore we find creative reasons as to why we shouldn't be doing those activities. I call that creative avoidance. Most people in today's world are solopreneurs. That means you work from home or you work from a co-workspace, and therefore there are a lot of creative avoidances. It could be making your bed. It could be putting the dishes away. It could be doing the laundry. It could be water cooler talk. So you find creative ways to not do the things that are going to get you paid. So as we wrap up professional versus amateur, again, I've been through both sides of these guys. I have certain days where I wake up on fire and I'm so productive and I lay my head down at night and I'm so proud of myself. And then I have other days where I'm easily distracted. Now doing amateur activities, all right? Which way do you want it to go? I would much rather be a professional every single day versus an amateur. Again, progress over perfection. Start with one of these bad activities and cut them out, reduce them, eliminate them altogether. So we talked about the amateur versus the professional activities. I want to remind you the reward has to be greater than the sacrifice. Everyone starts, but unfortunately, most don't finish, right? And so we all start out with good intentions. We all, new year, new me, or whatever it might be, wherever you're currently at in your life. And then what happens? You get punched in the mouth 3 days in a row. And now all of a sudden, those good intentions that you had, now we don't feel like doing it. So some fuel for you to think through this. This is some mindset motivation stuff for you. Your positive energy has to be greater than the negative energy you're going to face every single day. Now, where does that negative energy come from? It could come from other people, external things, or it come from your own self. So other people might tell you, oh, you can't go do that. You're not good enough, this, that, or the other, right? Hopefully you're surrounding yourself with good people. Your positive energy has to be greater than the negative pull of this world. So move in the opposite direction of the negativity, whether that's other people or your own advice or your own self-negative talk. A lot of us have to really just squash that evil devil that's on our shoulder telling us why we can't or we shouldn't do different things. So again, I'm like, this is one of my favorite slides. Your positive energy has to be greater than the negative energy of other things out there. And so when we talk about what causes frustration then, the reward has to be greater than the sacrifice. We start getting in a better mindset. We have good intentions. We have a good plan in place, but we become frustrated. The definition that I use for frustration is just misguided enthusiasm. It means that you care. That's a good thing. We should all have some kind of frustration in our lives because it means that we truly care. Think about this. When's the last time you got into an argument with somebody? Maybe it was a significant other. You cared more than they cared, and therefore you're energying up, right? You're pleading your point, and they're sitting back here. They don't really care. That drives you crazy, doesn't it? So for me, it just means that you're passionate about something. It means that you do care. So how do we channel that frustration for something good? And I tell the story, when I first launched my business, I worked at a WeWork space or a co-work space. And basically I had videos, I had workbook exercises, I had all these different things I had to do. And I didn't have a professional. I didn't have a green screen. I didn't have all these different kinds of things. And there was one night the printer wouldn't work. So I couldn't print out my handout. And I just remember being so frustrated because it was 9 o'clock at night. I had already worked 12 hours and gone to a networking event and nobody was in there to help me. That frustration, guys, I had to rechannel for something good. And this is the good that came of that. Whenever those moments happen now, I celebrate them because most people are going to give up and give in right before a breakthrough happens. So understand, growing a business, being in sales, being in entrepreneurship means you're going to be frustrated. You're going to have challenges. You're going to have obstacles. So again, your positive energy has to be greater than the negative energy that you're going to face. Now, if it's not a matter of energy and it's a matter of building in excuses, This is where I just have to have a crucial conversation with yourself. Are you actually doing the daily disciplines? Are you staying motivated? An excuse to me is a self-proclaimed opt-out clause, is where you give yourself permission not to do different things that you know you should be doing. And I tell people, it's negligent for you and your life and your family and your business if you know what you should be doing and you're not actually going and doing it. So a lot of us build in self-proclaimed opt-out clauses. We build in excuses as to why we can't or we're not doing different things. You got to be honest with yourself. So what are some different psychological things that I do for my own business? I call these the Robbins Rules. All right. So I combine Tony Robbins with Mel Robbins. As you can tell by now, I'm really good at borrowing other people's concepts, making them my own. So the Robbins Rule is this. When I don't feel like doing something, how do I zap my energy? How do I zap my own self? It could be taking a cold shower. It could be splashing water on my face, right? But how do I go there in the mind first? We got to go there in the mind before we go there in the body. When it comes from old bad habits and behaviors, the mind has a quarter-second choice point, and you can catch it right then and there in that act. All right. So the mindset has a quarter-second choice point into why you're not doing something and why you should be doing something. So the Robbins Rules for me is I want to zap my system. I want to zap my system so that way good things are going to happen. That's the Tony Robbins Rules. And then I have Mel Robbins. Mel Robbins is the 5-second rule. And I don't know why this works, but it does work. Whenever you don't feel like doing something, count backwards from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then go take action. So going all the way back into the amateur versus professional activities, we only get paid by results. Success is extremely inconvenient. You're not going to feel like doing things most of the time. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, take action, and good things will happen. The reason I love these Robbins Rules for me is, again, every single day it's a micro level. I think a lot of coaching and a lot of business strategies are filled with platitudes. I want to break this thing down on a scientific behavioral level using my PhD in human performance, which is that micro level stuff. So start to journal every day when you get tired, every day when you get frustrated, every day when you don't feel like doing different things. Why is that happening? You'll start to notice different themes in your day. So again, this is that micro level stuff of just common things that happen to all of us every day. Because we're all, if I'm going through it, you're probably going through it too. So I would strongly encourage you to break down your professional versus your amateur activities. What is your dominant focus? What are you going to try to cut out, eliminate, reduce when it comes to certain activities that are not getting you paid? And then break down your daily structure and actually be disciplined in journaling. When you have low energy, when you lack confidence, when you don't feel like doing something, what is the result of that? And then how do you snap out of it based on those Robbins Rules? So let's review and do a personal assessment. I used to call this a personal autopsy, but that sounds kind of morbid. But let's do a personal assessment then when it comes to your amateur versus your professional activities. What amateur activities you need to cut out, eliminate, reduce altogether on a daily basis? What professional activities should you be doubling down on? Remember, unpaid equals amateur, paid equals professional. And then just write down what are the obstacles that you're going to face, whether it's internal or external. Internal could be your own energy, your own confidence. External obstacles could be your kids, vacation, right? All these different kinds of distractions that we have. I love happy hours and going out as much as anybody. But what do I understand about that? The next day, I'm not going to be on fire. I'm not going to be as good if I had too many cocktails, right? So those are the obstacles that I'm going to have to face internally. Is I love hanging out with people. I love doing the things that I enjoy doing with the people that I enjoy doing them with. However, that can carry over into my morning routines if I allow it to. So do a personal assessment and just be honest with yourself. What are you willing to cut out? What are you not willing to cut out? What obstacles are you going to face? What amateur activities you need to cut out or reduce? What professional activities should you double down on? Before we go, I want to talk about time block, gamification. This is a word that I recently learned. It was basically, how do you make sales fun again, right? How do you make sales fun and time block fun? Because when I hear time block, I cringe. There's nothing fun about time block, and I truly understand that. So when we talk about your amateur and your professional activities, and you talked about your obstacles and your priorities, all this kind of stuff, I created a time block system that makes my days fun, and I do it by themes. That way, when I wake up, I have a different mindset based on what day it is, and now I can be much more consistent. Because again, what we're talking about, sales is a game of probability. We're just trying to increase the probability of good things happening for you. So there's 3 types of days that I work from inside of my week. Number 1 are buffer days. These are behind the scenes days. So these are more operational things that I'm doing. I have performance days, which is when I wake up on fire. These could be days where I'm doing a lot of my sales calls. I'm out there in the market or in the industry taking face-to-face meetings. Maybe I'm speaking. Maybe I'm doing some kind of business development activities. The third type of day then are off days. These are days that I recharge my battery. So I try to build out my theme days based on these three types of days: performance days, buffer days, behind the scenes days, or basically off days, okay? So the way that I do this for my calendar that works, and again, you can adopt whatever works for you. Mondays are those behind the scenes days. Those are those operational days. I might create content. I might do something operationally with my current clients. Tuesdays are with my current clients where I'm actually coaching. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, for me, I want to be performance days. I want those to be new money generating activities days, all right? But I've actually built in Friday to where if I do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, like I should have done, I can build in Friday to be what I call a lifestyle entrepreneur. A lifestyle entrepreneur is where I get to go do the things I enjoy with the people I enjoy doing them with that are fun. Those could be hobbies. Those could be interests. Those could be passions. So maybe I want to go snowboarding. Maybe I want to go golfing. Maybe I want to go hang out at a ball game, right? But I can intentionally congrue all these different things together where it's fun for me. So I am a big believer in not only theme days, but the different types of days. That way, when you wake up, talk about your time block, you know exactly what hat you should have on. We can be proactive versus reactive. And then the second part, then, as we talk about the gamification process, gets into a color coding of events. So just like I don't like having time block system, I also don't like working inside of my calendar. So that's why I color coordinate my calendar when it comes to my time block system. Green activities means what? Money generating activities. And if you remember the exercise when we set your dominant focus, your quantitative number for appointments, what did we ask you? How many appointments should you be setting on a daily basis? If I personally need to have 5 face-to-face or phone conversations a day, I need to have 5 green activities on my calendar every day. That's how this all works together, okay? Yellow means hold. How many times have you reached out to 3 different people and you gave them 3 different days that you could get together, and then they get back to you a week beforehand and you already double booked yourself? Don't be a bozo. I've done that before, okay? So yellow means hold for some kind of important meeting. Red means block for buffer time. That means you time. I call this Bruce time for me. Red is buffer, Bruce time. So maybe I take a meeting and I know I'm going to need 30 minutes or an hour to decompress. Maybe I'm going on a family vacation. All right. So red time just means I know not to book something and my team knows not to book something on my calendar. Orange is operational. Something to do with your operations. These could be your current clients. These could be your past clients, but it's something that you're working inside of your business. You're handling different things, operational or service oriented. They're not money generating activities, but you know that they're important. All right. Purple to me means party. It means fun. I get to go to happy hours or networking events, or, you know, groups of people. I get to hang out with my advocates at many advocate events, right? So purple to me is party. It's fun. So whenever I see purple, I know, hey, I need to get in a different mindset on my calendar. Blue is my favorite color. So for me, those are speaking showcase events. My highest value activity for me personally is when I can get in front of a group of people and show why I'm an expert. So that's why I put on my calendar, I put blue for speaking showcase events. And then I have light blue on my calendar. This means creative time. I'm a big believer in you creating your own content. One of the best ways for you to show why you're an expert is to create your own content. And in our 90-day sales planner, we show you how to do that. So on Mondays on my calendar, I have light blue time. I have about 3 hours of light blue time. That means I get to create content. I enjoy creating content. I might even have light blue on my Saturday mornings or on my Sunday mornings. All right. So this is a gamification process to make your calendar fun. And what's cool about this, at the end of the week, you can look back through your calendar. And if you see a bunch of green, what does that mean? Man, that was one heck of a week. If you see a bunch of orange, what does that mean? I spent too much time inside of my business. If I have a bunch of purple, maybe I had too much fun, right? If I had too much red, I had too much individual personal time. So it's a lot of fun for you to be able to go through a gamification process based on theme days and based on color coordinating your calendar. Nobody said business had to be boring. Even though time block is kind of boring and running and maintaining your calendar is kind of boring, your business doesn't have to be boring. And so that's why I created this gamification process. As we transition into part number 3 of your sales plan, I want to remind you the first 2 parts was really your plan for yourself. You were just being honest with yourself. What is your dominant focus tied to both quantitative and qualitative? The second part, we got into your professional versus your amateur activities. What obstacles are you going to face? And then as we get into part 3, what I have learned is that a lot of people just want to be told what to do. So that's where we developed a proactive prospecting selling system. And I'm going to go through this step by step. And as a reminder, if you went through the 5 habits of highly effective salespeople, this is bonus material. This is going deeper into the second habit, which is that selling system part of it. So we're talking about high value activities. Every single day, there are 3 types of high value activities I do. And there's 5 subcategories within these 3 different categories, okay? So category number 1, income producing activities. I call these IPAs. And I used to make the joke back in Colorado. When I moved to Colorado, I drank too many IPAs. These are not those type of IPAs, okay? These are income producing activities for your business. The second category of high value activities gets into people of influence. These are other people that can help you grow your business. So the first 2 categories, income producing activities and people of influence, these are 10 categories of people I'm going to walk you through and go much deeper into to help you start to build out your database. And the third type of activity then are person of influence or interest activities. These are things that you do for your own self to grow your status, to get more attention, to build up your marketing. People use the first person they talk to 67% of the time. So there are certain multiplier activities that you could or should be doing every single day to go out there and build your status. So the first type of high value activity are your IPAs, your income producing activities. I call these primary categories. And when I say primary, I'm not saying these are any more important or less important than the other categories. I'm just saying any business, these are primary categories. I don't care what business that you're in. You have help lists, you have Fight Club, you have your current clients / new clients, you have promoters, and you have your advocates. So when we break these 5 categories down, primary categories, this is a standard sales cycle for anybody out there. Help lists are just new leads or new people. And I put them into those different kind of categories because if you don't have enough incoming demand for your services, you have to self-identify people to go out there and talk to. So when I get a new lead that comes in, that person immediately goes to my help list. I think I can help you. I don't know. Let's have a conversation. If I don't have incoming demand, which are referrals or things that I get through my marketing, then I have to self-target people every single week. So I have 10 new people on my target list every single week that I'm going out there. I think I can help you with my services. This is new business conversation. I don't know I can help you until I share my opportunity statement. Then what happens? They fit my filter. So I get in front of them face to face. I get them on the phone. They fit my filter. They can use my services. They have a need or a want or a problem. I can help solve that. Now they go into my Fight Club assuming they didn't sign up right there on the dotted lines, which as we've learned in sales, that typically takes time to follow up and to earn that business. So that's why I call it Fight Club. They fit my filter. I know I can help them. Now I'm fighting to earn the business. I'm following up with them consistently with my follow-up system. It typically takes 7 to 15 touches to close a deal 80% of the time. Guys, that's my mindset. And that's how you should build this into your CRM. And then what happens? Eventually, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days later, you earn that business from them. Now they become a current client or a new client. Now I start my 90-day onboarding process. I'm trying to convert them from a new client to a promoter to an advocate. This is how I differentiate these different categories. A promoter says good things when solicited, and advocates out there shouting it from the rooftops, hey, you have to use this person. Out of all the different people you can use, this is the person. All right, they're both really good, but I want promoters out there who are saying good things about me when solicited, but I want advocates, man. I want to go deep with 25 people. So I want advocates that are just feeding my business, that are giving me those referrals, that are out there serving as my marketing drum, all right? So as you can see, these primary categories are standard. I don't care what business that you're in. It's standard for anyone. Help list, which are new leads or new people. I talk to that person. They go into my Fight Club because they fit my filter. I know I can help them. I eventually convert them into a new client. Now I have an onboarding process to go deeper with them, to actually service them and to show them why I'm really good at what I do. And then after 90 days, I ask myself, are they a promoter for me? Are they an advocate? Or were they none of those? They might just go into my database. All right. Promoters say good things when solicited. Another way to think about promoter could just be past clients, past 90 days. Okay. And an advocate are people that are really out there promoting you and advocating for you and serve as your marketing and referral base. Now we get into your secondary categories, which are your multipliers tied to your people of influence categories. So remember this. The first 5 income producing activities, those are types of people. The second 5 are basically people that can multiply your business. These are people that can just blow up your business. My first category in my people of influence is my favorite category are my connectors. My connectors are my strategic partners. These are my business to business referral partners. So we can go a whole lot deeper with my connectors. So if you're in real estate, for instance, a connector for your business could be your title person. It could be your mortgage person. It could be your insurance person. It could be a roofer. It could be a CPA. It could be an attorney. There's so many different people that could serve as connectors for your business. And I believe this is one of the biggest missing structures that people have inside of a selling system. Number one is they don't have a selling system, if we're being completely honest. But number two is they don't understand how to truly leverage all these different types and categories of people. So that's why we give you this system to really help you think critically about your business. The second type of category when it comes to your secondary multipliers are your climbers. Climbers are climbing that ladder of success. I call these young hustlers typically. They can't buy today, but they're gonna be able to buy at some point into the future. So what is a climber for you? It could be somebody that's getting ready to graduate and they're gonna have a lot of money. And so therefore now they need to do something with that money. They might need to invest it. They might want to buy a house, whatever that might be, depending on your industry. But climbers are climbing that ladder of success. And guys, here's the genius thing. I don't want just their one deal. I want the lifetime of their deals. And I don't just want their one deal in the lifetime of their deals. I want all their friends' deals because I believe in the law of attraction. Law of attraction is this. We hang out with the same type of people. So if they are a young hustler and a climber, they're probably hanging out with other young hustlers and climbers that can blow up and magnify your business, okay? And then we get into your someday people. Someday people they were in your fight club, they were on your help list, and maybe we couldn't quite close that deal. They weren't ready to buy, they weren't as motivated as we thought they were, but they still fit our filter. Someday they're gonna buy. So when I have somebody in my fight club, I ask myself, are they going to buy in the next 90 to 180 days? If the answer is yes, they stay in my fight club. If the answer is no, I move them into my someday category. So this is where I truly believe, again, as a business owner, if you're multiplying your business through connectors and climbers and someday people, this is how you can blow up your business. This is how you can become a true sales professional. Professional equals paid. Because a lot of people go after the low-hanging fruit. This is where you actually have to work a database and follow up with people and stay involved in their lives, stay top of mind. All right. So these 3 categories alone could blow up your business. And then we get into your aspirational, which could really blow you up. An aspirational contact is, I have 5 people at all times in my aspirational contacts. These could be big time accounts. These are channel accounts that if I land that one deal, it doubles my business immediately. It triples my business immediately. So in my mindset, it's not a matter of if somebody else drops the ball, it's a matter of when. And when that does happen, I want to be the very first person that person thinks about to bring their account to. So that's why, again, you can see why this is so important to have a system and to work it every single day. The last category of the secondary multipliers is a nextpert category. A nextpert is a book that I wrote. It's a word that I made up. You're the next expert. So you're actually the nextpert, but you should talk to somebody every single week that motivates you, that makes you think bigger, that inspires you, and just pick their brain and interview them. And here's what's cool about an expert. You don't go into the meeting trying to get business, but a lot of the times you'll come out of that meeting and that person will become a connector for you because they'll tell you, man, I've never really had somebody just want to pick my brain or want to hear my story. How can I now help you? I like you. I know you. I trust you. How can I help you? So these are 5 categories of people that I really believe are secondary multipliers and categories that are people of influence, that are community leaders, that can help you go out there and blow up your business. And then we get into the person of interest activities. These are activities for your own self that you should be doing on a daily basis. Person of interest activities are speaking showcase events, they're networking events, and they are advocate events. So there's 3 types of showcase events. And think of it this way. You're showcasing your talents. You're showcasing your knowledge. You're showcasing your skill sets. So I'm a big believer in influencer marketing. How do we make you more attractive to other people? How do we make you more attractive to the community? How do we make you more attractive to your target market and your audience? To me, it comes down to showcase events. The 3 highest uses of my time every single day, every single week are showcase events, are networking events, and are my advocate events. Okay, so a speaking showcase event is where you get in front of a group of people. You get in front of an audience. It could be 3 people, it could be 30 people, it could be 300 people, but you show them why you're an expert. You have a go-to topic, okay? The second type of categories are networking showcase events. I talk about businesses filled with a lot of platitudes. Just get your name out there. Just go hand out as many business cards as possible. And so early on in my business, I had those pieces of advice, and I didn't follow them because this is what I learned. It has to be intentional. I don't go to networking events just to go to them. I want to figure out, is my target audience or market going to be there? If the answer is yes, I'm going to go to that event. I want to go work the room. And I'm not going to be the networking jerk. I'm not going to have a cocktail in one hand and a business card in the other. I'm going to circulate with purpose inside of that room. And I want to get in front of, I want to make 3 to 5 strong connections within that room. So I go to networking events every single week when it comes to showcase events. And then I had my advocate showcase events. So there's 2 types of advocate events I want you to think about. You have your mini advocate event, which is 3 to 5 people every single week that you're spending time with doing. I say this, do the things that you enjoy doing with the people that you enjoy doing them with. So if you enjoy happy hours, if you enjoy ball games, if you enjoy hiking, if you enjoy playing tennis, whatever it is, intentional congruence, lifestyle entrepreneur, do the things that you enjoy with the people that you enjoy doing them with. So those are your mini advocates that you can invite to these events. You invite 3 of them, 5 of them, 10 of them. Maybe they bring some friends with them, okay? So as you can see, those are 3 types of events that you could do to multiply your business. And then we have your database blasts. Once a week, I ask you to create your own content. It could be a paragraph, it could be a 90-second video, or you can marry those 2 different things together, but then blast that out to your database. Make it relevant to them. Make them interested in it. And now good things are going to happen with you along that way. The last category when it comes to influencer marketing is just traditional marketing. There are things I do every day for my business to, again, elevate my status. I might spend time on social media. I do 5-5-5 Go Giver, where I do 5 likes, 5 comments, 5 messages through Facebook, and I just go love on other people, okay? I might spend time on my own. I might do business, family, friends, or fun posts on my own Facebook feed. I might do an Instagram video. I might do a Facebook Live. I might do something traditional marketing. I might create a one sheet that I blast out. So there's a lot of different activities that you could or should be doing to become more interesting, to become a person of influence out there in the market. So why is all of this important? Why did I build this selling system? When I moved from Nashville to Denver, I didn't have a selling system. I didn't have a database. And organically, I followed this system and I grew my database over 1,500 people. Within the first 2 years, I had 5,000 people. And now we just keep growing organically. None of this get rich quick stuff, guys. Money follows attention and it follows activity. So I used to just tell people, hey, go do all this stuff. And what did I learn? Everybody competes harder when there's a scoreboard. So I want to make a plan easy on paper. So that's why we developed this whole system for you to give you an easy plan on paper, because that way you know exactly what you should be doing. So this is the weekly scoreboard. 10 new business conversations every single week that are going to go on your help list. I think I can help you. I don't know. All right. So these are either new leads or new targets based on wherever you're at in your business. But I want 10 new people going into the week, because if you're like my business, I told you guys, I need to have 1,333 appointments in a year. So I have to keep feeding my help list, okay? Then I have my Fight Club. 15 follow-ups every single week of people who fit my filter. I'm fighting to earn the business. I'm not going to close them on a one-call close, guys. I got to earn that business, and that's my mindset. I'm fighting to earn it. And then I want to have 5 new clients or current clients. And again, this might be different for you and your business. Maybe you only have 1 current client or new client. Substitute those 4 other people somewhere else then, based on your model. All right, and then I want 5 promoters and 5 advocates. So those are my income producing activities. So you can see exactly how many touches you should have in a week when it comes to that. Then we get into our people of influence categories. So these are your multipliers for your business. I want you to have 5 connectors every single week you're talking to, 1 per day. These are people that can blow up your business, that are a feeder system for you. These are other interesting, influential people. These are leaders in the community, all right? And then I want my climbers, my someday, and my aspirational. One per week of those categories, and then my nextpert, okay? So now you can see exactly how many activities you should have for your people of influence categories. And then lastly, what are you doing every day, every week to magnify and to elevate your status? Money follows attention. And I'm not even telling you have to do one a day. But I would say this, there are certain days you might want to double up. Maybe there's a certain day you do a speaking showcase event and you actually do an advocate event and you actually do a networking event all in one day. So there might be, remember those theme days, there might be certain days that you build in that are professional development days. And you're just like, man, I'm going all in. I'm going to be out in the field all day today. I want to do a breakfast appointment out in the public. I want to go to a luncheon or maybe host a luncheon, and I want to go to a networking event. So you can see how if you start to build this in, these are feeder systems and multipliers. So a lot of people think I'm insane, and this is a lot of work because it is a lot of work. Growing a business is a lot of work. Getting more attention for your business is a lot of work. As Grant Cardone talks about, you got to 10x it. It's going to be 10 times harder than what you probably think it's going to be to go out there. So that's why I developed this selling system, guys. It is hard. It's a lot of work, but it should be fun. Nobody said business has to be boring. Do the things that you enjoy with the people that you enjoy doing them with. And so this is an entire scoreboard that we built out. And then we have a daily 5-3-1-1 system for you to follow. We have a daily scoreboard for you to follow when it comes to our 4-hour workday. So if you follow this weekly scoreboard, I will guarantee good things are going to happen for you and your business. I want to walk you through our 4-hour workday. And guys, this has personally changed my own life when it comes to time block. One of the biggest missing structures that most people have is time block and prospecting. And most people live in this area. They live in the frustration gap. The frustration gap is this. This is where I am. This is where I want to be. Therefore, I'm always frustrated because I always move that barometer, that benchmark. And I was doing that same thing. I would go work 12 hours, 14 hours, but I would get home and I would be frustrated because there's always going to be 1 or 2 or 3 items that I didn't get done. So therefore, I created this 4-hour workday concept. You probably heard of the 4-hour work week by Timothy Ferriss. No offense to Timothy. I don't think that exists for most of us. And so for me, the 4-hour workday is I'm not going to beat myself up as long as I'm proactive in these 4 hours every single day. And I try to do this by noon. And this is the system then. Number 1 is personal development time. I understand that at the end of the day, I'm my greatest asset. How do I build, maintain, protect my confidence and my energy and all the different things that it takes to become a solopreneur? So personal development time, I follow a 5-3-1-1 system, 50 minutes for my body. And then I do 30 minutes for my mind. And then I do 10 minutes for my heart. And then I do 10 minutes for my spirit. The mind's need is to learn. The body's need is to live. The heart's need is to love or to be loved. And the spirit's need is to leave a legacy. So I spend 90 to 100 minutes every single day just sharpening my own saw. This is the whole person theory. For those of you who love Stephen Covey, mind, body, heart, spirit, knowledge, skill, desire, confidence. All 4 parts have different dimensions that we need to feed. And so this is how I start every single day taking care of myself. Then I transition into my actual proactive prospecting system. So again, it's a 5-3-1-1 system. This is that professional development. 5 new business conversation, 50 minutes of new business conversation, 3 favorite people conversations. These are 30 minutes of my favorite people, my clients, my promoters, and my advocates. And then I do 1 connector meeting and I do 1 other meeting. So that's my personal development time. So I do 100 minutes of professional development time to grow my business, to grow my database, and to strengthen my relationships. And then I get into my marketing development. 40 minutes a day on my marketing development, because what I've learned, even for my own self, you can go down a rabbit hole when it comes to marketing development. You can spend 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours. The point of any business is to create a customer. So a lot of us need to make sure that we spend time on our proactive prospecting, but we spend too much time on our marketing. So this 4-hour workday concept has truly changed my life, because now I wake up with a plan of attack every single day. And even if I don't get all of this done every single day, let's say I get to 80% of it, done is better than perfectly undone. And I know 90% of people aren't doing all these different activities, so I don't beat myself up. Now, there's a concept called Don't Break the Chain by Jerry Seinfeld. When Jerry Seinfeld first got started in comedy, he would write content every single day, and he started putting a calendar up on the wall, and he would just write an X. Every day he wrote comedy. Guys, he did that for 20 plus years, where he didn't break the chain. This is my concept for you when it comes to don't break the chain. I try to do this every single day. Monday through Sunday, I try to be proactive 4 hours a day. For a lot of you, that sounds intensive. Maybe you do Monday through Friday where you're proactive with this 4-hour workday. But every time I do my personal development time, I get one slash of an X. Every day I do my professional development time, I get another slash that makes the X. And then if I do my marketing development, I circle it. And that's how I build up my Don't Break the Chain calendar every single day for my personal development time, for my professional development time, and for my marketing development time. And then in the afternoon, I keep it free for outside the office meetings, maybe for catching up on operational things, maybe for doing more advanced things inside of my professional or my marketing development. But this is a great roadmap for you every single day to wake up with a plan on your personal development time, on your professional development time, and on your marketing development time. 4-hour workday. So as we put a bow on your sales plan, if you remember, one of my very basic beliefs is we all need some form of accountability. The word accountability is not a bad thing. So we went through our entire selling system again. I gave you the weekly and the daily benchmarks. I walked you through the 4-hour workday. And we all need some level of accountability. We all need some scoreboard to hold us accountable. So whether it's myself, whether it's Alex, whether it's other coaches out there, whether it's your referral partners, guys, share your plan with other people. We all need accountability partners for our business. And so if you follow my plan for you, again, I will guarantee good things will happen for you. But we need daily accountability. We need weekly benchmarks. We need monthly evaluations. We need quarterly deep dives for us to scrub and analyze our business. So that's why I built in that 90-day sales plan. It creates that sense of urgency. It should give you clarity. You should wake up and reset at 0 every single day. So a plan should be easy on paper. I just want to give you some of our basic reminders. And so that's why we gave you that plan, is it should be easy on paper. You should know exactly what you should be doing when it comes to that daily basis. The plan for us we've given you is the 4-hour workday. The 4-hour workday is our plan for you. If you follow the personal development and the professional development and your marketing development activities, and you reset at 0 every single day, then there is no reason why you won't go out there and increase productivity. And as we know in sales, increased productivity means increase in production.